Developing news in the fight against ISIS, U.S. warplanes bombed several sites in Libya this morning, killing at least 40 militants. The strikes targeted a senior operative linked to attacks in Tunisia last year. He's wanted for 2 attacks, one in March where 22 people were killed, another in June where 38 people died. U.S. defense officials tell CBS News he was likely killed in today's strikes.
Well, first to Libya, where the United States has carried out airstrikes targeting fighters aligned with the so-called Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIL. Libyan officials say at least 40 people were killed in the attacks in and around Sabratha, west of the capital Tripoli. The Pentagon says the operation hit an ISIL training camp and was aimed at killing a senior Tunisian operative, Noureddin Chouchain. He's accused of helping organize deadly attacks on a museum in Tunis and a beach resort in the town of Sousse last year.
This was a facility that we'd had our eye on for some time, and we had determined that there were ISIL fighters and folks in training at this facility, and specifically that Chouchain was associated with this facility in particular. And we saw that we believe that they posed a threat.
Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan joins us live now from Washington, D.C. Ros, what more do we know about the target and the impact of these airstrikes in Libya?
Well, even though Peter Cook briefed for about 45 minutes, we don't know much more than that, other than the U.S. is alleging that this training camp apparently was being used to orchestrate potential attacks on the U.S. or on U.S. interests overseas. We also don't know, even though Pentagon officials have said on background that 2 F-15 fighter jets that were based at Lakenheath in the UK were taking part in the strikes on this camp in Sabratha. We also don't know whether or not the Pentagon has actually confirmed that Noureddin Chouchain has actually been killed. We don't know how they're going to verify it, but one thing that Peter Cook did stress was that this airstrike was carried out with the knowledge, and we assume the consent, of Libyan authorities. And so it might be easier to confirm, one, how many people were killed, and whether Chouchain was actually one of those killed in the attack.
What might this indicate about medium to long-term U.S. intentions, possible further engagement in Libya?
Well, that's a difficult question, Mariam. The question came up both at the Pentagon briefing and at the State Department briefing. And while officials in both buildings were trying to say that this doesn't mean a shift in U.S. policy, they do stress that the U.S. is very much committed to going after ISIL, no matter where its fighters happen to be. And so the big question is the U.S. going to suddenly ramp up its airstrikes inside Libya? Officials didn't want to say whether that's going to be the case, but certainly they have been hinting in recent weeks, as the unity government tries to come together in Tripoli, that if there is a unity government, then the U.S. would be prepared to go full scale after ISIL inside Libya, because it's very concerned that Libya has become a place for ISIL to basically attract new foreign fighters, to train them, and then to deploy them, whether to Europe, to the U.S., or to other places around the world. So there's a real concern about trying to stop ISIL's spread, but whether or not we're going to see the kind of airstrikes that we've been seeing in Iraq and in Syria, well, officials both at State and at the Pentagon don't want to say that.
Thanks very much, Ros. Rosalind Jordan live for us in Washington, D.C.